Hello, everybody. This video is an interview with my friend Tony Fernandez and his team from Broward Church Worship. At the time of our scheduled interview, I actually had to be on the road, so you'll see me in my car talking from my end on a Zoom call with them. But we had a great conversation. Broward Church Worship has been producing some great videos with their worship team that in my family of churches, the International Churches of Christ, a lot of our congregations have been using their videos. I think particularly during COVID, as people were looking for content for their live streams and stuff like that, they have some really great, well-produced, great-looking videos, and they have some new congregational songs they've been working on, new worship songs, and so they share 3 of those and a little bit of the story behind those, some really great songs. And then we also talk a little bit about worship styles and sometimes churches changing in their format of how to do worship and some of the potential pitfalls of that and benefits of that, and just kind of how to as a congregation maybe change up some of the flavor of your worship ministry. We also talk a little bit about promotion and promoting music, and I share a little bit of my insecurities about that, and we just talk about how God looks at all that. So it's a great conversation. Hope you stick around to hear Broward Worship share their music. So, Tony, why don't you introduce yourself and your team?
Yeah, for sure. Brian, it's awesome to be with you. As you mentioned, my name is Tony. I get a chance to kind of lead this group here in the Broward Church area, and with a partner with a bunch of really great elders and some incredible church staff members to try to take the gospel to Broward County, and that's really our goal here. And so, with me is Noelle Rose. Noelle Rose is our social media person on staff. She also is a great, really talented singer and songwriter. And this is Jason. Jason is married to Noelle, and they love each other, and we love. Sorry, Noelle Saunders. Sorry, I always do this. They just recently got married about less than a year ago. But anyway, Jason is our worship leader and has done just a phenomenal job taking the group here to a new level of connecting with God, and writes also some amazing songs. And so really grateful that we get a chance not only to share them with you, Brian, but also just with the church as a whole.
Hey, Jason and Noelle. I've seen you on lots of videos, so I feel like I'm meeting somebody famous.
Well, it's nice to meet you virtually.
I mean, I've been singing your songs for years, so it's the same way.
So where are you? What space are you in there?
This is inside the building. This is actually a little live stream studio place. So this is all the gear that we run to do the recording in-house, but we also mix the live stream audio here.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, there's some Universal Audio stuff. And we just got a patch bay.
Yeah.
We're so happy about it.
Wow, it's not a real studio until you have a patch bay.
That's exactly the truth. And then Shane is moving the camera around to make sure you have context for what we're talking about. I love it. Shane, can you show Brian your face? This is Shane Peterson. He's Shane is the production guy here on staff at the church in Broward, and we know we are really blessed to have just people that do a lot of different things on the church staff here. But really, we couldn't do what we do without Shane Peterson and his work.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So I know Tony. I think if I'm right, Tony, I came down there for that ILC in 2007, and that's the first time I remember first hanging out with you and stuff, and we worked on that together. And but you're originally from the New York church, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I was baptized in the church in Rockland County. I love the New York City church and have great connections with those guys even to this day. And all those guys up there. One of my closest friends was Ross. Lippincott was a fantastic musician. And so anyway, by way of God's sovereignty, I was kind of brought down here. One thing led to another. And I was just came in here, wasn't actually doing too well spiritually, but I got connected with the church. John Porter and his son Joseph became, friends of mine, and John became like a mentor for me, and kind of encouraged me, inspired me, brought me down to a Hope Youth Corps, kind of changed my whole life. And eventually he put me in the ministry. I was able to work with teens. I worked with teens for a long time, and then campus, and then what we called the Millennial Initiative. And then when the leaders here left, the elders gave me an opportunity to lead this church here. So I just feel like my journey is the clearest indication and the clearest story that God's grace is real, and that what I deserve is not what I get. And so I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to be where I am now.
So Tony and I have done some worship through the years, and then I look forward to getting to worship with you guys, Noel and Jason, sometime. And where are you guys from originally? Are you have transplanted to Broward County, or you're from somewhere else?
I was lured here. No, I actually originally born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I had no affiliation with our sisterhood of churches, but I became a disciple in Miami, Florida at FIU. And so from there, once I graduated college, I was deciding between moving to another state, kind of starting my single professional life, and then the opportunity came up to intern with the church here. And I took it, and now I'm here, and I'm giving my heart here, and I'm glad I am actually, because God is doing amazing things here. And so, yeah.
And I'm from New Jersey, from a random old town called Sicklerville. So I met Tony at a ICMC, and he invited me to come out here, and I had no plans for the summer. I literally no plans at all. So came here, and I've been here ever since.
So Tony, I know you had a bit of a, well, I don't want to say challenge, but an opportunity, but just coming into a church that already had been established for a long time, and you're leading this church, and I know you have a lot of thoughts and opinions and ideas about worship ministry, probably as you come in, and what you want it to be, what it is now. And I'm sure there's a lot of worship leaders that can relate to that. And we have a lot of worship leaders that follow my, my blog or watch my YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I'd love for you to be able to speak to all of us about kind of navigating that. And with the caveat that, I just want to say right off the bat, there is no right or wrong way to do worship ministry, and it's a cultural thing, and it's going to always be shifting with time because it is cultural. And so our feelings and our heart strings can get really attached to this stuff. So even as we talk about this, if you're listening to this, if we offend you with anything we say, that's great, because we all feel what we feel deeply, and then those things even sometimes change over time. And then the challenge is the people in our congregation feel very deeply about songs and worship ministry and what it should be like and all that too. So, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about your process, because I know you guys went through some changes in maybe the style of worship, the types of songs you would sing and stuff like that.
I think what you're saying is super important, because we have this is an area that creates a lot of opinions and a lot of feelings, and probably the most diverse thoughts about church happen within the context of singing and worship and music. It's very challenging, because everybody has their favorite song or their nostalgic moment that they go out. If we only sang this, it would really draw my heart closer to God. And so I know that's just the way it is. And so we have to kind of think about, well, what do we want to do here? What are we hoping to accomplish? And I think if you start having worship set in the broader context of church growth or church or encouraging the saints, then you can start having some really good discussions about what the church would look like. But you're right, like the church here was planted in 1972. So by a traditional Church of Christ from, I think it's Lexington, Kentucky. And eventually it was kind of like the people from Gainesville, from the Crossroads, started coming down here and kind of infiltrating the church here and making it into what the Crossroads were. And so, Gainesville, Florida, and kind of a cappella singing, that's really like some of the where it was birthed, And so a lot of the tradition of this church here and a lot of the members have that same feeling of like, wow, like I want to, even the building here was built for acoustic for a cappella music, the way that
Yeah.
the roof is and everything. So when we come in,
that doesn't sound good when you get the live drums in there. That
no,
exactly
it
our
certainly
problem.
doesn't. So I mean, but we had to have a discussion about like, okay, well, what's ultimately our goal? So when I first came in, before trying to make an opinion on how the music should be, I decided to work within the system I was given, and so I spent a lot of time leading traditional a cappella music. I think I spent the first 3 years of ministry here just leading every a cappella song you can think of, all the 400s, like we're doing them all, like I'm blowing the pitch pipe, doing it, even though I wished I could bring a guitar on stage. And what I found out was that eventually when you work within the system for long enough, you gain enough trust where then people will go, all right, you can try something else. You can try a little bit more. And if you demand respect from the beginning and you go, no, I want to try to do this, then people don't really respond very well. And so when I started bringing more instrumentation and started, bringing some of the newer songs that I felt like touched my generation's heart and soul, I realized that the church was open to it primarily because I had been entrusted with the task of leading their music first. And so they knew, I believe, the elders told me this later on, but they trusted me. And to me, that was the greatest honor a young man can receive, that I was trusted by the elders here. And so eventually what our goal was basically to move music to reach the generation that we were really going after. And when I first got in the ministry here, we didn't have a lot of younger people in the church. And so one of the elders one time told me the average age was gray hair. So there you go. And so we were trying to just bring younger people in. We knew that one of the best ways to do that was to modernize our music a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then did you have challenges as you did that? What did you do to kind of bring the church along with that? I know you said have a conversation. Would it be sort of like you would just talk with the whole church family about how here's what we're trying to do. Here's the kind of church we're trying to be. Here's who we're trying to reach. We're not throwing everything out. Or did you say, okay, we're kind of, because I know some groups that just said, hey, we're throwing out the songbook. We're never doing hymns again. We're going all in on, Hillsong at the time. But I know other places like our group, we've always said, hey, we like it all. Like we want eclectic. We like the old stuff, and there, and by the way, I'm not that old. Like to young people, like, "Oh Lord, Our Lord" was an old song when I was young too. You know what I
mean? Yeah, I mean,
and I like.
I think you're right on. Like we don't want to. I think the value is in the lyrics, right? So even if it's not my style, the lyrics are my style. Like there is no way to get away from "Oh Lord, Our Lord." Like that song is beautiful. And maybe it doesn't sit in the middle of a service like it once did, or maybe it doesn't open a service like it once did, but maybe it can be placed after as a chorus of a song that ends some other way. We just did on Sunday, and I really appreciate Jason because he's trying to constantly think of how to mix those songs in a context that makes it so much more powerful, or that breathes brand new life into them. We just sang "Jesus is Lord" on Sunday morning, and the way we sang it was beautiful. It came right after a brand new song, and it just became the chorus of this song, and it was awesome. And people sang it, and the people who like modern contemporary songs loved it. The people who like traditional songs loved it. And to me, that's the type of thing that we should be thinking about. We should be thinking about the way the words impact people's lives and trying to make it freshen it up, so that people will really receive it in the way that they should.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have there been any things that along the way you go, oh, I wish we would have done this differently or that differently, that you can think of, or like kind of pitfalls, or you feel like it's all kind of rolled out pretty well, like the migration of learning new songs or new techniques, or are there things you go, oh, if I was going to go back 5 years or 10 years or however long you feel like you've been on this journey, like, is there anything that you would warn somebody to watch out for?
Yeah, I think we would probably set it up with a greater sense of vision at the beginning of it. I think at the beginning of it, we were thinking this is primarily to reach younger people, but I think now that I'm going all the way back, I'm realizing that really the purpose of this was to show the church that we were going somewhere, in addition to try to reach younger people. And I think there's something beautiful about that. And when you start with why, sort of like the Simon Sinek idea, like Sinek or whatever his name is, like when you start talking about the purpose of things, I think people receive it much better. And certainly there was a little bit of pushback. I remember someone saying, you just want to be, Calvary Chapel, or you just want to be, Hillsong. And I'm like, wow, and I had to check my own motives. Like, do I just want to be Hillsong? Is that really the goal here? And then the more and more I got a chance to actually take those criticisms to heart and really think, why am I actually doing this? The more I had a response to the reason why we were actually doing it. And I wish that the criticism didn't generate the vision, but I wish that I had started with the vision and didn't have to think through the criticism eventually, because I think my heart was really there. I just didn't have the time, or maybe I just didn't have the maturity to really think about it at the time.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Well, I know for me, I appreciate, like, I love the freedom to, like, I think if you talk as a church about what you're trying to do and kind of alleviate fears, because I think when people are operating out of fear, that's when they get kind of prickly, right? Including myself, when we're afraid. So I think we're not, alleviating people's fears and everything's an experiment and everything's not forever. And we're going to try this or we're going to try that. And I feel like we're still in that process of experimentation. I think of a couple things that we've done that maybe I would be careful of, or sometimes having too much on stage, too much audio on stage, you can lose the voice of the church. I feel like, or I've been in spaces where it's like, I can't hear myself singing, so, I like when I'm in the congregation, and so it's like, I want to always be able to still hear people singing, I think, but then, and then I feel like I've been learning a lot during COVID, because we were doing some mashup videos, kind of where we have all the different people from our team record their part on their cell phone, and then I'd edit it together, and it'd take me like 12 hours or per song.
Songs are nightmares.
The only people that really got it soon we opened up my garage, and we don't have a huge group. What's that?
I said the only group that really got that, like Brady Bunch video thing, was the Chicago group. They kill it, but we did one of those songs. Yeah, took like 20 hours to do. Yeah. I was like, we're never doing this again.
Oh yeah, no, we did probably. I'd say we have about 20 of them that we did, maybe 15, 20. So some of their teams, but the cool thing about those is now they're kind of they're like a branding piece, if you like. It's kind of, this is us, this is our group, and I think for our little church, our group our South Bay church is only 250 people. It's not as big of a church as your guys is, but it makes our made our group feel like kind of special, that we're not just using other people's videos, but we had our own. Yeah. Our own ones. So that was kind of cool, but it was not sustainable. So pretty soon into things, we turned my garage into a studio, and we would just live stream. So we would sing, a worship service in my garage live for our Sunday. And, so a few musicians would come over, and it was small. But one thing I learned was doing more with less, trying to have, I can't remember who I was talking to about this. I might've been talking to you about this already, Tony. I don't remember, but I listened to a lot of podcasts about like production ministry, or production, not ministry, but production techniques and stuff like that, or music production. And they talk about having you always got to have a good thump, pop, and sizzle, in your record, so even if it's a folk record, there's something that's doing a thump, there's something that's doing a pop, and something that's doing a sizzle, kind of like a kick, snare, hi-hat in the rhythm section. But I was thinking about how to accomplish that with, a ukulele and hitting a kick drum and, playing my keyboards or something, like, just how can we make a full worship band sound with just a small team? So that was kind of a lot of fun. So now that we're meeting live again, I'm trying to kind of keep that same mentality of kind of doing less is more. But anyways,
I'm of the opinion that you're right on there. I think when we, like, there's one thing to having, 8 people on stage singing parts, and like, having the everybody who's ever played an instrument jump on stage, like I
Right,
guess that's
right.
cool, like for something, but honestly, it becomes just, the sound is just too much. It just, you
Right.
lose, nothing's tucked in, you lose the stuff that makes the sound, and the song. And so, yeah, we've scaled back, even us who have, we have awesome singers, so we have awesome musicians, but we're always going, hey, do we need 4 people on stage to sing? Like, can we just have 2 people sing? Like, do we need to have an extra keyboardist to run this? Or we're always having those sorts of discussions, because I think you're right. We missed something that makes us, which is that people sing. And I also think that there's something really valuable as a worship leader now, like when you run some of those big giant songs, you're doing like Cornerstone or whatever, and all of a sudden you just drop the musicians and you just give a chance for the church to sing. Those moments there remind the people who have been here forever of those a cappella moments. And so there you're throwing an a cappella moment within the context of a larger song. And so there's all these little things that we should keep working on. I also think that there's something to be said about being excellent at your instrument. Like Jason preaches this all the time. Like rehearsals are rehearsals, and practice should be done at home. Like when you're coming, you're rehearsing, but you need to be excellent. You need to be really good at what you're doing. Otherwise, we're going to ask somebody else to do it, because we want this to be glorifying to God. And so those are all little things that we've been working on to try to like shift the culture. But sometimes you have people that sing for 30 years and we're going, hey, actually, we're going to ask you to no longer sing, and we're going to kind of put you in a different position. And there's a lot of hurt feelings there. But when I think the church sees the broader vision, then they go, okay, even though it hurts, there's a sense where like, yeah, I get that though. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Jason, you have anything to add on that, since that's your spiel?
Yeah. I sigh a little bit too, because it is something that is extremely important to me. Having the background that I do, I grew up in New Jersey, as I said earlier, and what I'm very familiar with is those hymns. And just like Tony was speaking about just a moment ago, that was actually even valuable for me and my faith. And before I was a Christian, I associated hymns with like loving God, and once I started to realize that there was genres of music within the Christian realm, when Tony was showing me some of those things, I recognized, oh, there's more to this Christian, genre than just traditional songs. And learning how to implement the new and what is more familiar with us, and all these different things into like a collaboration. Every service to include all of these different things is really important. And I've seen how the church has appreciated the fact that we are still considering our members who really do value the older traditional songs. And it's also really helpful for bringing in new faces as well that know, the songs on the radio, the echoes, and all these different songs that are a little bit more familiar in that realm.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell me about what led you guys to start saying, hey, we want to write our own songs, or have you always been wanting to do that?
Well, I'll kind of give you a little bit of it. So, our church history, this more than anybody else probably, has this awesome tradition of original songs that the whole church sings. And I probably every Sunday for 10 years, I sang a version of, or one of J. Brian Craig's songs, before I knew you. I sang something. It was either you or Sherwood McIntosh, one of those I was singing on Sunday morning. And I looked down at the name. Oh, cool. Like, I don't know who this is, but awesome. Like, it was just what we did. And it wasn't about you, Brian, being famous. It was about you giving a service to the church. Right. And so today our church is, our craving songs to sing, and we're looking at them, and there's no criticism of Hillsong or of wherever, Elevation or Bethel or whatever, or Maverick City, but But we're looking, and I think it would be awesome to have some of that tradition continue in our churches, where we go, we wrote those songs, and this is us. And it doesn't matter that like we're the ones who wrote it, but the fact is that these songs have been written. And so when we started thinking about that, we went, we just want to continue that tradition. We feel like we've been blessed a lot, and so because we've been blessed, we want to make sure we bless others in the spirit of Abraham and the spirit of God's people. And so that's what kind of got us going. And Jason, Noel, and I started just kind of putting it together and going, hey, maybe this will work and maybe that will work. And then we started pulling in some people from out of town to be a part of those songwriting sessions. And so some of the songs that we're going to show today are like, one of them is written by the three of us, but another one is written by people who are outside of South Florida. We just wanted to add more people to the conversation and help write songs that hopefully would stir our hearts.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So are you talking about like when Josh was there and Travis and those guys? Is that the songwriting? Is that part?
That's the first iteration of this whole thing. So the first iteration of this was, hey, I don't know how to do this. Let me invite 8 people to come into, I think it was like 10 of us. It's like, I'm gonna miss names, but yes, those guys, and then plus a whole bunch of other people came. Josh, Tolliver, Molly, Bryn Gardner, Brooke Collendorfin, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. But a whole bunch of these guys came into town, and we just started writing some songs. And we realized very quickly that wasn't going to be the right way to do it, because we're not all here, so we couldn't produce the songs and work on them and mix them and all that stuff. And so the second iteration of that was, hey, let's invite one at a time. So Brooke came in to help us write the song that we're going to share in a couple of minutes. We had K-Sam come into town about a month ago to help us write a couple of songs. We've had, we mentioned Josh. So there's other people that we're just kind of bring people into town to help write some music, because if they can't do it in their home church, or maybe they don't have the resources, we can certainly help them.
That's cool.
Maybe Brian,
awesome. You'll come. Say what?
Maybe Brian, you'll come down to help us.
I would love to. Yeah, that'd be fun. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that you guys are writing songs. I've always been a big fan of people. I always give priority to songs written by people in our fellowship, just because I feel like, well, it's us, it's one of our family members. It's like if my daughter writes a song, I'd rather listen to that than the one by Ariana Grande or whatever. Like my daughter does write songs, by the way, which I love, but it's like maybe the Ariana Grande one is a little more polished, but the one by my daughter it's by my daughter, so I feel like that's how I feel about our disciples in our churches. It's like we're family, so it's like I love songs written by disciples, so I'm always trying to plug or play songs. There's a cool song that, speaking of Travis and K-Sam, that he and that they wrote in the Denver group that we've done a bunch of times in our group. That's really cool. And so anytime I hear a great song by disciples, I'm trying to push it. So I'm excited about hearing all your stuff and even singing your songs here.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I know for me, like when I was first writing songs for our churches, it was, it wasn't like, I'm going to write a song for our churches. I was just like, I'm going to write a song for my little church. And it was really because I was so tired of some of the songs that we were singing and over and over again. And I had a background of doing music but so like for like the song I Need Your Love, for example, I was specifically trying to replace Sanctuary, like because Sanctuary was so much. So I was like, I really want to write a song that is kind of like could fit in the same place that you would sing Sanctuary. So that's why I Need Your Love has kind of the vibe it does, or at least the way I wrote it is kind of a Sanctuary vibe. But and then years later I got really tired of that song of I Need Your Love, but then you put it away for 10 years and then you bring it back and it's new again, so I don't even mind Sanctuary anymore.
I don't think people know this. Maybe you have, Brian, shared this with other people, but even the chords that you picked because you were trying to work with people that didn't know how to play guitar, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is too, at the time it was a cappella actually. So Sanctuary and Be With Me, Lord, and some of those early songs were actually written a cappella, and then to be a cappella, and then added some chords later. But for sure, I've always tried to write really simple songs, because I think most people in our churches aren't singers, right? And I mean, they're singers, but they're not professional singers. So like the trick is to make it singable, but not like kind of dumb. You don't want it to sound like Barney or something.
Yeah.
So that's the real trick. But I think because of that, I've always tried to make songs that are like couple chords or 3 or 4 chords or whatever. But then some people think that, like, I remember when I wrote the song for, sometimes you just get what you get, you know how it is, sometimes you just get what you get. And so when I was asked to write a song for that Mountain of the Lord conference, it was like, it was kind of a challenge because it's this real specific kind of thing. On the Mountain of the Lord it will be provided, and it was kind of, so anyway, but so I got what I got, and I liked what I ended up with, but it's not as much of a singable type of song as other ones are, and it's more of a, I don't know, it's more of a performance type song, although I tried to make it where people could still sing on it. But anyway, like, as I was introducing it to the band, I had these amazing musicians in the band, and how musicians are, they always, real musicians don't necessarily like my songs because they're so simple, you know what I mean? They want a little more of a challenge. And so one of the brothers was like, wow, you're really growing as a musician. You're really growing. And I just was like, okay, amen. But it's like, I wrote songs in composition school, like that were really complex. And I know how to do that. It's just, I was not trying to do that, so anyway, my own insecurity gets wrapped up in some of that sometimes. Like,
Brian, we totally respect you, and you've blazed the trail for us that hopefully we can follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, let me hear one of your guys' new songs. I'd love to.
Well, I'll tell you what the first one. So we have 3 shorties that we can give you, just kind of verse and chorus. Okay. And if you want, I'll kind of, was that? Yeah, let's do that first. So the first one's kind of an upbeat song. This one's written by Jason, myself, and a guy named Kyrie from, actually, he was in the church in New Jersey. Now he's in Atlanta, in North River. He came into town, same idea, just kind of writing a song with him. This song is, we were looking for what we call a bop, just kind of an upbeat something, all the songs are like, 6/8, like sad, and we just wanted something that was like up here. So this song started because we were in the living room. I told Jason, I said, hey, Jason, I have this idea in my head. I want you to play. He's like, how do I play that on a guitar? I'm like, I don't know. Just figure it out. And so eventually he kind of figured it out. And and this is what came of that. This is a song of praise. It's it's the whole goal here is just like, I don't know, a celebratory feel.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
You are my rock, my sovereign peace. You calm the storm, you call me out, now I can see. You lift my eyes, you made a way. The joy you give, no one will take away. In your faithfulness I'll stand. No one will take away. In your heart I find my place. It's the song of my Father. There's life in the water, a hope that is offered by the true and living King. It's yours if you want it. If you want it, you got it. It's yours if you want it. If you want it, got it.
All right, we're going to take you to the bridge.
But if you only knew what he could do for you, you would change all your ways and seek his face. But if you only knew what he could do for you, you would change all your ways and seek his face. It's the song of my Father. There's life in the water, a hope that is offered by the true and living King. It's yours if you want it. If you want it, you got it. It's yours if you want it. If you want it, you got it. It's yours if you want it. If you want it, you got it. It's yours if you want it. If you want it, you got it.
Awesome. I was trying to give you some feedback on Zoom. Don't you hate no feedback on Zoom when like you answer Bible talk and it's just everybody's muted and
I mean, the worst was when you were preaching right to the camera. You're like, you need to obey God. You know, it's like no one's listening to you. So yeah, that song, that's like the track that we really like. It's kind of, the church loves this song. Yeah, the church loves this song.
Yeah, I like how you called it a bop song. I love it. It's great. And the message is kind of like I love the message too. It's kind of a fountain free, right? There's a fountain free kind of message, right? This is amazing. Why would anyone not become a Christian? It's amazing, right? It's
awesome. and the thought is like, there's that First Chronicles passage that's like, if you would just turn your face and seek him, like your life would be better. You know, it's like, come on, like just go, just become, you know? And so it's a great like opening song. The church, you know, when we do it, they're like, woo, you know, I love those songs. What are you playing there?
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely do that one. I like that you got baptism in there too. So it's a little,
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, either that or evangelism, right? Every song. Yeah, this song. We'll play a little part of this song. Just like this is called Golden. It comes from the passage in Job 23. Job is trying to figure out his life. You know, he's like, my life has been terrible. I've looked all over for God and I can't seem to find him. And then at the end of it, he kind of declares in chapter 23 verse 10, he's like, you know what, like even though I can't find him, I know that when I'm tried I will come out golden. I'll come up forth as gold. Right. And so for us coming out of 2020 and kind of like all the difficulties, we were like, wow, we need to just like think about God more and realize that like when all this is done, we'll come forth golden. So that's the title of the song. It's called Golden.
Awesome.
That joke is high. Yeah, it's fine. You can keep it there.
Keep watch of every step. Your words a compass for my feet. Follow without regret. I'll hold to the truth that comes from your lips. What you say. Each test that comes my way is often more than I can bear. You hold the pieces I break. I trust that it's better off in your hands what you make. The lies they try to tempt, but you rebuild the broken. The potter, I'm convinced when I've been tried, I'll come out golden. I search from dusk till day, but you have always seen me. You know the path I take. When I've been tried, I'll come out golden.
This is the bridge.
Waiting to see this victory.
I know it is purposed. I know you are working, waiting to see this victory. I know it is purposed. I know you are working. The lies they try to tempt, but you rebuild the broken. The potter, I'm convinced, when I've been tried, I'll come out golden. I search from dusk till day, but you have always seen me. You know the path I take. When I've been tried, I'll come out golden. I come out golden.
Woo! Awesome. I love it. Great song.
Yeah, we're
Super beautiful melody.
Thanks. Yeah, this is the four of us, or the three of us, plus Brooke from the New York City Church helped us write this one as well. So really grateful for her partnership in this song, and just in the middle of it. I think the song was written like in the middle of the pandemic, and we're whatever, the whole thought, like, I know we're gonna see something awesome, but it's gonna take a little time. So this is the last little bit. This is the last song we want to show you. It's from John chapter 6. Peter's prayer at the very end of this whole interaction with everyone leaving Jesus, and Jesus turning to Peter and going, do you guys want to leave too? And Peter's response is, Father, where else would I go? You have the words of eternal life. And so that's what this song is called. It's called The Words of Life. It started with Noel just giving us these lines, this chorus line that eventually became this song.
Yeah.
Cool.
Take it to the bridge.
Hopeful for the first time forever. Fulfilled for the first time forever. I'm hopeful for the first time forever. Oh, I'm fulfilled for the first time forever. Oh, Father, where else would I go? Oh, where else would I go? Father, where else would I go? 'Cause you have the words of life.
That was great. That's a good one. That's one of those songs that would is going to really minister to people when they're going through a rough time. So that's awesome.
We hope so. It was written while all of us were going through a rough time. I think all these songs are actually written during the pandemic, so they really do speak the complex feelings that come with being tried.
And finding glimmers of hope, and then realizing, wait, are these really glimmers of hope, or am I lying to myself?
I need to just wait for heaven. Amen.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wrote quite a few songs during COVID too. Well, probably 3, 4, or 5 songs during COVID, and they're all kind of like that little bit of. One is called "I Don't Understand," but it's from the story of Jehoshaphat, I think, where he goes, "We don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you."
Yeah,
we'll take.
You know that story.
Yeah.
We'll take the.
What's that?
Yeah.
We said we'll take.
So he it's like the words are.
We said we'll take a food chunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He goes. Our eyes are on you, but we don't know what to do. And so that's kind of made the song. It goes, I don't understand, but I know you love me, even if I don't know what to do. All is in your hands. All is in your hands. On your word, I'm standing. Something like that. Keep my eyes on you. But yeah, so it was a good time for writing songs.
Agreed.
So, where are you guys in the process of releasing all these?
So we've had lots of
about
how best to
do this.
And after lots of advice, basically have decided that we're going to release them. We're just going to release all of the songs. We started them. So go on Broward Worship. Broward, Spotify, you can get all the tracks, like not all of them. I think only 3 are out right now, right? 3, 3 are out right now. But our hope is that by the end of the summer, you'll be able to kind of see the rest of them fall into place. 2 more will be released probably the next couple of months, and then we have some songs that are in the hopper that we're working on. So we were thinking about releasing it all as an album, but then we were like, these are all brand new songs, so we're just going to kind of hopefully make people keep coming back for more.
Awesome. So you're going kind of single by single, but there's 3 out now. And well, I didn't catch the name of the first song, the one about faith of my father.
It's called The Song of My Father.
Song of My Father. Okay. And which are the ones that we can search for now on streaming?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, right now you can find Song of Our Father. You can find a song called Night by Fire that we actually didn't sing today. Then you can find a song.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
You can find a song called Golden, the song we just sang. And then Words of Life, the one we just sang. We actually have a version of it that's kind of like a live version on our Broward Church page, but we'll have like kind of the studio version out probably mid-August.
Yeah, around there.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Well, thank you for taking the time. I'd love to ask you, Noelle, so you're the social media person, right?
I am.
So I was asking Tony about this. So I kind of took a break from Facebook. I'm trying to get back into it. And, but like, as you're promoting stuff, how do you like, I guess sometimes I feel like I get self-promoting. I don't want to be self-promoting. I feel like sometimes I struggle with envy from some of these like mega churches and sort of celebrity personality, celebrity pastors and celebrity musicians. And you just feel kind of, I don't know, I feel like in the rat race sometimes when I get into the whole social media thing. And then because I started, many years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, I started dabbling in the music industry and I was doing some stuff and it was just like, this isn't good for me, all the promotion stuff. Like, God, I just want to serve your church. And if you want me to do something with music, you just make it happen. But then when I go into the world of, kind of online promotion and stuff, it feels like that again. And this might just be me, but do you battle with like some of that stuff, or how to stay sort of spiritual and grounded? And because obviously we want to hear it. What I tell myself is, well, people want to know So I got to get it out there, but I just don't, I find I wrestle sometimes with some of that stuff.
I think what you're wrestling with is valid, and I feel like it is almost healthy to wrestle with something like that. And I think my answer for you is twofold. Somebody gave me a book a really long time ago. Actually, it's called How to Make It in the New Music Business. It's pretty much a textbook, so I haven't finished it, but in the first chapter it says like, why do you want to do music? And it says, like, stop for a second, just think, why do you want to do music? And I thought to myself at the time when I was doing my my own music, just as an individual, I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, because I love it. Like, that's why I want to do music. And so you continue reading, and it's like, if you just answered, you want to do music because you love it, it's not good enough. And I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, that was literally my answer. And the point that the author was trying to make was, sometimes the desire is good enough to start, but not good enough to get the outcome that you're looking for. And obviously, especially with Christian music, we're looking to not just release music for our own sake, but for God's glory. But I realized that stepping into the world of promotion can be tricky, but it is needed, especially if we want to make God's name known. And I think that what you're bringing up is relevant for us, because I feel like we started out making our music and writing our music not because we sat down and were like, we're going to start this thing called Broward Worship. Like, we didn't have a startup meeting or like a conference call or a Zoom call saying, like, I have this name, it's called Broward Worship, and we're going to begin. We started writing songs that spoke to the season and spoke to what we were going through. And the opportunity kind of presented itself to start with music collectively. And I feel like moments like that are little kisses from God to say, please do this, until I tell you to stop. And I think with that, like, kind of, kiss from God, I feel like he would want us to use every resource that we have available and given by him to promote what we've been doing. I think we have opportunities within our relationships, within our groups, to give each other some heart checks. In the same way that random person gave Tony a heart check about, do you want to do this because you want to be Hillsong or you want to be Elevation or whatever? That was a heart check for him. And I think we all serve that purpose for each other here, which I think is valuable. Like, why are we writing this song? Like, is it because it sounds like that new one that came out, or is this really speaking to what the church needs? Is this really speaking to biblical truth, which is, even one step further than that? And, I hope any of that was helpful, but really what I'm trying to say is, it is a tricky game, because I really do feel like Satan can really try to infiltrate and try to take hold of something good that God is trying to do, which he usually does, is take something beautiful and try to pervert it for himself. But yeah, working with the marketing and stuff is a tricky game, but I really do feel like God wants us to do that and wants us to put our best foot forward, and to make his name known, not our own.
And I think the scripture that I haven't, that came in mind as you were talking is the boasting. I will not boast in anything, like in terms of my own power, but I'm boasting in Christ. And I think that's the idea, is that, like, if we can promote Christ by boasting in him, then we do great. But if we promote ourselves and boast in ourselves, then we've kind of lost the battle.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a billion thoughts about this. We need a separate Zoom call for this. But for the most part, I understand the struggle, and I feel like God is like, go ahead, and he will be clear when it is time to not do this anymore. And we just have to be obedient to that, and to, kind of step down. So.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's helpful. No, I think it helps just to hear you validate the struggle, and then just to say, that it's really about God, and to bring it to God. I feel like that's what I try to do. But I do, especially like when I'm like songs, it's hard for me too sometimes, because I feel like songwriting is a part of my walk with God. And it's like, I just feel like I connect to God through expressing myself in songs, and then I feel like he gives me songs, and then I want others to hear them or sing them or no, I want to share them, but I feel like it's coming from a place of God gave this to me and God told me to share it, kind of is how I feel sometimes. But then, I don't want it to become about me, and Satan can try to hook us, I think, sometimes, or make it be about, especially when it's like these visible likes, like how many likes, how many people like you, on Instagram or something. And it's like, no, I don't want to be thinking about that. Or, if I just don't want to be thinking about, I want to be thinking about God and the spiritual stuff, and not, about me or promotion or how many likes it's getting, or, that kind of stuff. So it just helps to hear that, you just bring that stuff to God. And I like what you said too, Tony, about, hey, it's good to boast in the Lord. Right. So,
yeah. And not even to over spiritualize the process. Like that is what we desire to do. Like we desire to, make these songs that maybe sound like they're from a new era, but not to be popular or not to be, famous, but really to speak to a generation that's listening to the other stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys. And I love your stuff. I love all the songs, and I just appreciate as well your humble posture, that you're super, super gifted and have amazing talents and amazing things to offer, but you're also, really respectful of everybody that's gone before you. And I feel like that's really what we need as a whole church, right? As the whole family of churches, we come, if people aren't familiar with our family of churches, we kind of broke off from our parents, in the 80s, and kind of left the older people. I mean, I remember Al Baird was like the oldest guy in the church, and he was 40, you know what I mean? So it's like,
he was the oldest guy in the church forever. The whole time.
So I am a kingdom kid. I grew up in the church, and there was not many of us my age, because there, it was not many older people. And so now it's something unique in that our churches there's a lot of older people in our churches, and we need the younger people to step up and lead and kind of take the reins. And but that's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing for the younger people. It's not an easy thing for the older people either. So I really appreciate, you guys are doing an awesome job. And Tony, I love that bridging the gap talk that you did the other day. It was so good, that you and the eldership did there together, just because I think it's a key thing for not just in Broward, but all of our churches, around the world, to see younger people stepping up. And I think you guys are great examples of that. So.
Amen. Well, I'm really grateful for our eldership. I know that they may not even watch this, or hear this, but I'm just very grateful for them. It can't be overstated how they have allowed this to happen, and they allowed a revival in this church. And so we're excited about the future. We're excited about these these songs. We're excited about everything that God's doing here.
Yes.
Awesome. So anything else that we can do to help with stuff going on there?
Follow if you could on all the social media pages, as we just talked about, not boasting in ourselves. Follow for the glory of Jesus. But yeah, if you could follow us on Instagram at Broward Worship, that would be great. If you could subscribe to our YouTube channel at Broward Worship, that would be awesome. We have new stuff coming. Hopefully, if you need any information and you want chord charts, you can send us an email. You could send it to jason@browardchurch.org
or browardworship@gmail.com.
or browardworship@gmail.com, and we'll send you chord charts, whatever you need to make it work. We even have multi-tracks. We'll send you those as well.
Yeah,
yes,
totally.
Awesome. That's cool. That's great. I will take you up on the multi-tracks. We were doing that for a while, in ears and stuff like that, and then we took a break, but we'll probably bring it back. So that'd be fun.
Yeah. You'll hear Jason's voice. He'll be your guide on the
track,
actually.
Chorus.
Yeah. So you recorded your own cues. You're like chorus 2, 3, 4.
I sure did.
It is really interesting hearing that.
Yeah.
You said they're mostly 6/8, so it's
yeah. Yeah, it's like chorus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's especially weird when I'm like leading songs and you hear my voice doing the guide.
Yeah. It's like, Father, where else? Chorus 2, 3, 4. So weird.
I've done 2 of those with my own voice, but I use stuff from loopcommunity.com, and then when you put it into their system and then it spits it back out, you get the Loop Community guy's voice. So he's on most of them.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, we're doing everything on Ableton right now.
Oh, that's cool. I have multi-tracks for some of my songs. If you want them, Tony, like some of the oldies.
Yeah, I'll grab them.
If you want.
We'll take it all. We are not. We take everything. We just pillage.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, great talking to you. Thanks for taking the time out. And we'll keep in touch. Look forward
to so much.
Thank you for this.
Coming to Florida next year for sure, but hopefully before then too.
Absolutely.